What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of That Boy ETV. And you already know, man, we are back on Marvel Rivals, and we're here with another character breakdown. And this time, as you can see in the background, it's for that girl, Hela, baby. Now, let's get right into this. And again, we're talking about Hela. She is a duelist in the DPS role. She does have a base health of 250 and a movement speed of 6 meters a second, man. Now, Hela is a duelist hero with a low health pool. She is a powerful DPS character who relies heavily on her normal attack to deal damage. Hela's normal attacks are ridiculously powerful but are very hard to aim. If you do not have good aim, then you will often find yourself not doing any damage with her. However, if you're able to land them, you will notice that you can two-shot some heroes, and even vanguards will pose little to no threat, man. When it comes to her other skills, all of them also cater to damage. Her ultimate sends her high up in the air, allowing her to shoot down projectiles that deal a ton of damage. Although Hela is vulnerable in that state, she gains a good amount of resistance to help her stay alive. Her movement skill is a decent relocation ability, with its only drawback being that enemies can clearly see where you're going. It can be useful in lower ranks, but higher ranked players are likely to follow and snipe you if you're trying to get away. All in all, Hela is a very difficult hero to play, but one that will reward you if you manage to master her. Now, Hela, in my opinion, is one of those backline DPS that you'll have. And just like I stated earlier, again, someone with better aim will be better suited with her, as her normal attack is basically her bread and butter when it comes to what you're going to be doing with her. Now, other than that, she is very good at taking out enemies fairly quickly, as we will get into a normal attack here soon, and you will see, like it says, you are able to two-shot certain heroes out here. So again, a good Hela on a team could be very, very annoying, man. But let's go ahead and get into her first ability, which is going to be her normal attack. And with this, it's going to be called Night Sword Thorn. And with this, you throw Night Sword Thorns. And this is a single cast direct hit. It does 70 damage. The fall off begins at 18 meters, decreasing to 70% at 30 meters. The fire rate will be 2 rounds per second. The ammo count is 8. And there is a critical hit on this. And as you can see, man, when you're using this will take about 4 body shots to kill somebody. And then, since it does have a critical hit, if you actually hit the head, if you have one of those base 275, 250, you can actually two-shot those characters there. Now, if you happen to only land 1 headshot, you can land 1 headshot and 2 body shots to go ahead and get the kill, man. Now, with her normal attack here, you basically just want to make sure you have good aim, man. You're going to want to primarily aim for the head, as you will be two-shotting a lot of these lower health pool characters. Pretty much all the healers and even some of these duelists, man. So make sure when whoever's playing Hela, you have pretty decent aim, and you're always, for the most part, aiming for that head. Now, the 4 body shots is not bad, but you want to go ahead and make sure you aim for that head at all times, man. Now let's get into some of her abilities here, as we do have a couple passives. The first one is going to be called Hell's Descent, and with this, you're able to fall slowly. With this, you hold the A button, or the jump button, and this has a horizontal movement speed of 6 meters a second, with a descending speed of 3.5 meters a second. And as you can see here, when you're falling, you will just go ahead and hit this, and you will fall slowly to the ground. Now, what do I find this for? I mean, this is just kind of just a way to move throughout the map, but I don't really see any real tactical use for this. I could see you jumping off a ledge and maybe using this to stay in the air for a while to initiate your ult, which is probably what it'll be best known for. So with that being said, that's probably what it'll be best known for, man. Now we have one more ability here that'll be called Nanstrom's Crow Storm. And with this, defeating an enemy will generate a Nanstrom's Crow, exploding after a duration. The delay is going to be 1.8 seconds. The range is a 5 meter in a spherical radius, and the damage is 80, man. And as you can see, when you kill an enemy here, one of these crows will appear, and where the enemy died, it will have a small explosion with a small AoE blast damage. So this is good here again. If you have a Hela that's already hitting shots and laying people down pretty quickly, not only will that happen, but she will also be putting out this AoE damage for any enemies that happen to be nearby. So again, she's also quick at taking out enemies herself, while also helping her teammates get enemies killed by providing a lot of that AoE damage with these exploding crows, man. So this passive right here is really, really good in my opinion. It only boosts her damage output and her ability to go ahead and get kills, man. Now we're going to get into our next ability here, which will be called Piercing Knight. And with this, you fire multiple Night Sword Thorns that detonate after a delay. This is a straight line projectile that generates a spell field upon impact. There are four projectiles. Each projectile moves at 80 meters a second. Each one does 10 damage. There's a 3-second explosion delay. The range will be 3 meters in a spherical radius. The spell field damage will be 30 damage per round. This has an 8-second cooldown, and the projectiles stick to enemies on hit, man. So when you use this right here, you'll see that the thorns come out, and there is a short delay, and then they will fly forward. If you happen to be aiming at a person, they will hit the person directly. But as you can see, even when you hit someone directly with this that has like only 275, you aren't actually able to kill somebody with this, which is kind of disappointing because with it having a delay, it is kind of hard to hit. Because basically what I mean by this is when you use this, you'll be seeing someone, you'll be like, okay, let me try to hit this. But again, you have to realize that there is a delay upon shooting it, and with everyone moving around, you might actually find it hard to hit these. So you want to make sure that you are aiming these as best as possible. Now also too, you could hit the ground next to people and they will explode on impact then. So that is also an option for you if you find it too hard to kind of, you know, hit the person directly, which is very understandable because again, I think that with the delay, it is kind of hard to hit these, man. Now, with the next ability here, we call Soul Drainer. And with this, you project an explosive hell sphere to stun nearby enemies. This is an arc projectile that generates a spell field upon impact. It is 40 meters. The projectile speed is 40 meters a second. The damage is 1. The range is 3 meters in a spherical radius. The spell field damage is 40. The stun duration is only 0.3 seconds. And the cooldown is 12 seconds, man. Now, as you can see, when you hit this here, you will throw out a ball that will stun the enemy. But the stun is very, very short. So again, you might not even really notice the stun when you're actually using it, which is kind of crazy because you would think that you would really notice this because every other stun in the game, in my opinion, you really notice it. But in this one, you don't really notice her stun that much. So you want to not really use it as much, I believe, as or in the same capacity of other stuns that you might run into in the game, simply because it's not as good. The duration is very short in my opinion, and it's so short to the point where even when you stun somebody, they are able to even start moving again before you even send out your thorns. So again, I think that this needs a little buff. Maybe increase this to like half a second or like 0.7 of a second, because I do believe this stun needs just a little bit more duration in order for it to really be that good, because honestly I didn't really see this doing much for me while I was playing. Now for the next ability here, we have Astral Flock, and with this you transform into a Nunstrom Crow to glide forth, and then when you press the ability again, you undo the transformation. This is a dash casting. The dash speed will be 15 meters a second. The dash distance is 18 meters. The cooldown will be 12 seconds, and the special effect is shapeshift into a Nordstrom Crow to gain invincibility. Now, when you hit this, you will turn into a crow, and you will be able to fly. Now, from what it seems like, you can only fly in the direction in which you were originally aiming, so make sure that you are aiming in a direction to get you out of there. But this ability here is basically used as a get out of jail free card, a relocation tool, and your movement tool that you'll have. Now, as far as how good is it, I do believe this is pretty good, as the distance is pretty good. It allows you to get up pretty high, so already you'll be up high and you can rain down your thorns. So with her, this ability here is also going to be really good as far as getting her in great position to take advantage of all her normal attacks and abilities. So with that there, man, I mean, this is probably one of the better relocations. I think maybe the only one that might be better might be Scarlet Witch's one, which is very similar. But again, this is a very good movement tool to have in your kit, man. Now, we got to go over her final ability here, which will be her ult. And this is going to be called Goddess of Death. And with this, you soar into the sky and unleash Nordstrom Crows from each hand at will. And with this is a single line projectile that generates a spell field upon impact. The duration will be 10 seconds. The Nostrum Crow health will be 1,000. The fire rate is 1.79 rounds per second. The projectile speed will be 80 meters a second. The explosion range is 6 meters in a spherical radius. The explosion damage is 125. The explosion damage fall off is 32% fall off at 4 meters. And the energy cost will be 4,000, man. As you can see, when you pop this, you will come up into the sky and you will be able to rain down crows. This is a very devastating ability and ult to have. It does a lot of damage and can take out a team fairly quickly. Now, I just want you to be very aware that when you are using this ult, that you are aware of the terrain, as the certain terrains that you are in will affect your ability to use this ult. Like if you are in a room with a low ceiling, this ult won't be very effective for you. Also, if you're in a room or an area with a lot of cover that people can get underneath, this will also affect your ability to get hits and kills with this ability. So make sure that when you're doing this, you are in an open space and you have open sight lines on pretty much everyone on the team. Other than that, you will have issues with getting this ult off and using it effectively. Now, when you want to use this ult is probably when there's a big team fight going on and you're in pretty much an open area. You want to go ahead and pop this and just start raining down fire, man. With this, you should be able to get multiple kills fairly easily and fairly quickly, man. So just make sure when using this ult, you are aware of situational surroundings, man. Now, the last thing we're going to get into is going to be her team up. And with this, it is going to be called Queen of Hell. And when Hela lands a final hit in defeating an enemy, she can instantly resurrect Loki and Thor in the respawn phase or grant them bonus health if they are still alive. This is a passive. The team up bonus does give Hela 15% damage boost. And again, you will need Thor and Loki in order to do this team up. Now, this team up is pretty cool, where basically if one of them are dead or in the respawn phase, if you're able to get a kill, you will instantly respawn them right then and there. Or if they happen to be alive, you will grant them bonus health, man. So this team up right here is not that bad. It's probably a little underrated just simply because it really does depend more on the Hela to actually get kills to really take advantage of it. But again, I do think this is pretty good of a team up. So if you happen to be finding yourself with a Thor or Loki, just go ahead and make sure you're hitting your shots as often as possible to get kills to keep them on the battlefield as long as possible, man. But ultimately, overall, Hela, in my opinion, is one of the stronger DPS as she's able to take out a lot of the cast fairly quickly and fairly simple. But again, you must have aim in order to really use her. Now, when it comes to her abilities, the stun is very lackluster as it's very short. The Astral Crow for your relocation is very great. And the Sword of Thorns that you throw out, it's a little underwhelming as well due to the fact of the delay. But if you're able to get the timing down and everything, they do a good amount of damage. Now, I would say this, if you are able to hit all the thorns onto an enemy, I do believe it should kill that enemy. So maybe they should go ahead and give it that boost in general. But we'll see how that goes in the future, man. But this has been another one of them character breakdowns, and I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at DatBoyETV. Now, let's get into, catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace.